that. So we are going to talk about trig ratios today. And what you need to know is that there is sine, cosine, and tangent. And there is a saying or a word, it's called SOHCAHTOA. There's a whole big story along it. I might attach that story for you. But these three letters go together, these three letters go together, and these three letters go together. What it stands for is that sine of the angle is opposite over hypotenuse. OH is O hypotenuse. O and H is opposite and hypotenuse. Cosine, which is the C, is adjacent and then hypotenuse. And then tangent, which is the T, is opposite and then adjacent. Okay, so that's the ratios that you're going to be needing. Now, before we talk about the ratios, we're going to just talk a little bit about the calculator. I know that this is different because you don't have your school calculators. I want to show you my phone. It's not an iPhone, but maybe it will help you. My phone does have a calculator that will do this, and I think most of yours will as well. I'll also show you Desmos that will do it. So on my phone, if I just go to the regular calculator, you get something like that. But if I turn it sideways, I see a whole bunch of other things going on here. Now, I will tell you that in order to do what we're going to do, first, mine said, let's see, let me go back just a second. Mine did have, it didn't have the degree, and I had to press degree first, okay? So if you're using a different kind of calculator, just make sure that you have a degree. But see, the sine, cosine, and tangent are there. So if you turn your phone sideways on the calculator, most of you will have what you need. But if you just press sine and then press 30, you'll get an answer like a half. If you'll press cosine, well, let's do something different. Go do it in a different thing. So cosine of 60 is also a half. Won't always happen that way. Tangent of 90, it didn't give us an answer. That means it's not a number, it's undefined. There will be ones like that that's undefined. Tangent of 66, strange decimals, just write a couple places. But this, I wanted you to see that on your phone you can do this. I also want you to see that you can do it on Desmos. So if you're using the Desmos app or you're using Desmos on the laptop, that's fine. I also want you to see that you can press sine and then put a parentheses and then put whatever you want to find. And it will also give it to you. The default on Desmos is already degrees, so you don't have to worry about that like you did maybe on your phone. Or if you have a regular calculator, you will need to change it to degrees. The first problem that we had was, let's see if I can pull up both things for you. The first problem that it gives me is sine of 12, and so that's what I've already gotten there. It's 0.207. I'm just going to round it to 2 places. Okay. And then cosine of 14 is 0.97. Okay. Cosine of 52 is 0.62. So it's easy to put that in. You just need to make sure that you put it in correctly. The next one says cosine of 24. Then there's tangent of 51. And then the last one on this group of problems is cosine of 35. Actually, you don't even have to put parentheses. I wanted to try it there to see if it would work, and you didn't have to. Okay, so that's how you can use your calculator to find those things. Now, what the other thing that I want to do is I want to go back to how we're going to use this, because you won't always just know what angle that you're looking at to find the answer. So what will happen sometimes is you'll have a triangle and the sides will have numbers on it, and it'll say, okay, find cosine of C. Or it might say, find sine of A, or whatever it says, okay? Whatever this says right here, that's telling you that's the angle that you want to start with. You know when we did opposite and adjacent hypotenuse? Well, that's the thing that we do first. So C is the angle I'm interested in, so I'm going to first label the sides. Across from the C is the O, across from the 90 is the H, and then the other side is A. Okay, now I have everything labeled. It tells me to find cosine. Well, according to my little mnemonic over here, SOHCAHTOA, cosine is A and then H. So it's A over H, and so I just get A and H, and I just write it, 20 over 29, and then you leave it just like that. You can write it as a decimal, and you can reduce it if you want, but really 20 over 29 is all that we're looking for. We're going to do more with this, but for now we're just starting with these ratios. So number 8, cosine of A. Alright, A is what we're interested in, so let's label all the sides. Across from A is O, across from the 90 is H, and then the other side is A. Alright, again it says cosine, which is nice. We already know that cosine is A and then H. Okay, A and H, so 16 over 30. Okay, number 9. It says C, so we're starting with C. I don't know why these are all cosine, but that's okay. The next ones will not be. So this says cosine of C, so start with the C. O is the across from there. 90, across from the 90 is the 41, so that's H, and then the other side is A. We're still interested in A over H because it's cosine, so 40 over 41. Alright, number 10. It says Z, so we're starting with Z. Across from Z is O. Across from the Y is the 90, so that's the hypotenuse, and then the other side is A. Okay, tangent is O, and then H, opposite and then adjacent, so it's O over A. So O is 21, A is 20, and then that's your answer. Okay, next we're starting with A, so we go to A. Across from A is 30, that's the O. Across from the 90 is the H, and the other side is the A. We're still doing tangent, and we just figured out tangent was O and then A, so 30 over 40. Then we have cosine of X, so we're starting with X. Across from X is the O, opposite. Across from 90 is the hypotenuse, other side is A. A stands for adjacent. Alright, go back. Cosine is A over H, so 21 over 29. Okay. We'll do one more problem, and I'm going to just draw it for you. And the problem might say, find the values of, let's see, I guess I need to label these for you. Sine of A, cosine of A, and tangent of A. It might ask for all of them. So I just want to do one where you see it asking for all of them. First thing you should do is to label the sides, just like we have been. It says A, so I'm going to start with A. Across from A is O. Across from B is the hypotenuse because that's the 90. Across from C is the A. Alright, above we know that sine is O and then H. I'm just going to write it. SOHCAHTOA. Okay, and then just plug it in. So then we have 20 over 29. We have 21 over 29. And then we have 20 over 21. Just in case it asks for all, that's how you do it.